Well, the doorbell rang about 1:15, and at first I thought it was a prank. There was a flashlight shining in the window, and it was the sheriff telling us we had to evacuate, that there was a fire coming up the canyon.
Overnight, nearly 600 homes evacuated as the quarry fire burns near Denver, Colorado. It's just one of over a dozen fires ripping through the West. I'm Valerie Castro in for Gadi Schwartz, and this is Stay Tuned Now. Tonight, wildfires are blanketing the West, prompting evacuations and forcing fire units to mobilize at a moment's notice. Let's start in California, where the Park Fire is now the 5th largest fire in the state's history, burning nearly 400,000 acres, including dozens of homes, some even belonging to the firefighters battling those flames. We heard from one father-son duo.
All I could think about was I needed to get my equipment so I could get on the operation and start getting up here to help people. So I actually ran into my house. All I did was close some windows.
It's sad to see my son lose his place, and he's worked so hard, and it's where he grew up as a child, and I sold it to him when he came and said he wanted to buy it and raise his kid there, and you know, he was doing that.
Meanwhile, in Colorado, the Stone Canyon fire has burned over 1,000 acres of land since it started yesterday. At least one person has died so far. Officials there say human remains were found inside one of the homes. Nearby, the quarry fire is growing fast. Firefighters there banging on doors in the middle of the night to get people out in time.
We are currently over 200 acres, and it will grow. There is no doubt. This is a complex fire exhibiting active fire behavior that is not conducive for a ground attack.
NBC News correspondent Liz Schwartz joins us now. Liz, what's going on where you are right now?
Well, hey, Valerie, I mean, this fire is still really active. You can see the massive plume of smoke there. They've been doing airdrops, and they've been trying to fight this fire from the air and the ground, but it is a very challenging fire for many reasons to get a handle on. It's small, just about 200 acres or more at this point, but it's challenging, officials say, because it's threatening homes and property, but also the terrain is really steep. And Valerie, what's really interesting about this area that's unique to this area as well is that there's a lot of rattlesnakes in this area, an area called Rattlesnake Gulch, and officials say that that is also making it incredibly dangerous and challenging for firefighters as well to be able to fight this fire on the ground. So a lot of things working against these firefighters right now. Many people remain evacuated at this hour as they continue to try to get it under control.
And Liz, it's been a busy few days there in Colorado. We're hearing there are now 4 fires burning across the state. Do fire crews have enough resources to battle all of them?
Yeah, multiple fires in this area, like you mentioned, one that turned deadly, very sadly. But it's been a challenge. The resources issue is a challenge that officials were bringing up today. In fact, watching some of the press conferences with the officials, they were saying that this morning they were asking for air resources. They didn't know if they were going to get them. We can see now they have them, but that was a concern. They said they only had 75 firefighters available to fight this fire. And part of that is because there are about 600 Colorado firefighters right now out of state helping other states battle their wildfires. So that's been an issue. We know that the governor tonight, though, of Colorado has called in the National Guard to help manage and do some of the logistics around fighting these fires as well.
And Liz, we mentioned the Park Fire earlier in California. That continues to cause some serious damage as well. Do fire crews there have a handle on that, or are there any signs of it slowing down?
Yeah, the good news there, Valerie, is that there is progress underway there. It's now 18% contained, which is a pretty healthy amount of containment here. It's no longer threatening homes and property like it was. It's been a week now since that fire started, so it's been really hard for crews. It's now the 5th largest fire in California history. As you mentioned, people are now returning home. It's wild, though, Valerie, and we're talking about fire season. Just for comparison, in California this year, 30 times more acres have burned already this year than all of last year, and we're only halfway through the year and just into summer. So it's going to be a pretty intense fire season to come for the rest of the next few months here in California and across the West, where more than almost 100 wildfires are burning right now. Valerie.
Liz Schwartz tonight in Colorado for us. Thank you, Liz. Meanwhile, devastation in Vermont after a freak thunderstorm washed out roads and damaged homes across the Northeast. The rain rattling people so much, some are now considering whether they should move. NBC News correspondent Aaron McLaughlin has more.
Tonight, Vermont is reeling after historic flash flooding left entire neighborhoods submerged, homes ripped from their foundations, cars and trees tossed like toys, roads washed away.
I feel like I'm in a nightmare. I'm just waiting to wake up. There's no other way to really describe it.
Jeremy Greer says when he came back from work in the early morning hours on Tuesday, the water was rising fast.
We packed our bare essentials and got out, grabbed our kids, our animals, and ran.
They returned the next day to this.
My bedroom walls are down there. Absolute disaster.
It's the second flash flood to strike the area this month. Weeks ago, Vermont was also hit hard by what was left of Hurricane Beryl. Tonight, the state bracing for more.
This is exactly what authorities say they're worried about. Soil already saturated and a lot more rain.
Farmers, the pillar of the local economy, are either underwater or struggling to keep up.
Too much water, too much wet ground.
Local farm owner L.B. Willie says his place was mostly spared, but his corn has been hit hard.
If it keeps this up, is this devastating for this corn?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Still, Jeremy Greer and his family say they've had enough.
The only plan I got for anything is we're moving. There's so much stuff that's irreplaceable that we lost.
But you're safe.
We are safe. That's really all that matters.
Aaron McLaughlin, NBC News, Lyndonville, Vermont.
And joining me now is NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns. Bill, it looks like more wet weather is headed to the Northeast and even some parts of the Midwest. What can you tell us?
Yeah, a lot of active weather this evening. We just, covered two of the big stories, the fires and the flooding. And now we're dealing with wind damage, too. We've had severe storms rolling through the middle of the country over the last hour or two. We have some strong thunderstorms just south of Minneapolis. We've also got some very strong storms in north central Kansas. But it's this line of storms that just blew through Omaha, Nebraska. They had a wind gust almost up to 90 miles per hour reported. I saw some of these video and pictures in this area. There's a lot of tree damage. There's 18-wheelers that have been turned over. And that's with this Boeing line of storms that's now pushing into Iowa. This is the kind of storm with a lot of winds like this. The corn is pretty high in Iowa. This is a farmer's nightmare that can just blow the corn all over, just in one straight direction. It's almost like, hurricane-type gusts that have gone through eastern portions of Nebraska and now western Iowa. This is on Interstate 80, so destructive is how the National Weather Service is, categorizing this as it continues. We'll see if it holds together as it makes its way through Des Moines. Now to Vermont. A lot of rain has happened during the day today. We do have two areas that we're concerned with flash flooding, and one is right where we just showed you those pictures from, St. Johnsbury, and most of that heavy rain has been just to the east, to the west of town, where the worst flooding was, where we just saw the pictures. But this other area, just outside of Bradford, now this is just across the border into areas of New Hampshire, estimates of up to 3 inches of rain with thunderstorms in the last couple hours, and we do have a flash flood warning in effect for that area, so that's not great either. So very active weather in this region.
And how about on the other side of the country? Things are supposed to get actually pretty hot there.
Yeah, it's very steamy. Even at this hour, it's extremely hot. The Mississippi River Valley up through the Missouri River Valley, 106 at this hour. It feels like in New Orleans. So this is very hot, humid air that's in place, and it's going to be there tomorrow. And we're now about 1/3 of the population that's under either heat advisories or heat warnings or watches as we go throughout the next couple of days, right along the East Coast, the region I just talked about, and now the desert Southwest and the Pacific Northwest is getting into it. And it's actually been a couple decent days for firefighters, light wind. Temperatures have been down a little bit, but that's about to change. Tomorrow, Vegas about 108, Reno 99. Look at Portland, Oregon, up to about 98 degrees. And then by Friday, we turn the dial up. Billings 103, Rapid City 101, getting very toasty. And unfortunately, this does not look to end as we go through the weekend. Phoenix 113, Vegas 110, right through Monday, Salt Lake City 2. So for those firefighters out there that are out there on these blazes, which, it's about 10,000 firefighters on these active blazes, little small armies. They're going to be suffering through the weekend.
Yeah, not much relief in sight, it looks like. Bill, thank you. Tonight, President Trump made his first appearance in Pennsylvania since his assassination attempt a few weeks ago, a triumphant return with added security measures. But it was his first stop of the day that is generating the most headlines. This afternoon, he was in Chicago at the annual convention of the National Association of Black Journalists. He made a number of comments that some see as incendiary. Here's how he responded to a question about whether Vice President Kamala Harris was only on the ticket because she's a black woman.
I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always identified as a black woman.
I respect either one. I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear.
Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Yamiche Alcindor, who was at the event. Yamiche, talk more about some of the other comments he made, and how was his appearance received in the room?
Well, in the room, people were really stunned because he was questioning the racial identity of Vice President Harris, someone who has been very clear and very articulate about her backstory, about how her parents met as civil rights activists, that her mother was Indian, that her father was a black man of Jamaican descent. So it was very, I think, curious at first, and then people, I think, were a little offended or very much offended by the idea that he was telling a black woman that she was just now becoming black because, of course, Vice President Harris has not only attended an HBCU, a historically black college university, going to Howard University, she also joined a historically black sorority. So there's never been a question of whether or not she was a black woman. That being said, there were also issues where he was asking and talking about the idea of black jobs. And this was, of course, coming from the debate when he said that immigrants were coming to take black jobs. Take a listen to some of that exchange.
Coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And they're taking the employment away from black people.
So there were a few people in the room, more than a few, you can hear it in the audio, that were really, really stunned by some of the answers he was giving. I should also say that at one point he was also insulting the National Association of Black Journalists, saying that the interview started late because there were audio issues. And throughout the interview, he kept on saying that there were audio issues, when I can tell you, as someone who was sitting in the room not more than 20 feet away from him, that there were no audio issues. He also said NABJ was starting late when that was not the case. He arrived late from our understanding. So there were just a lot of back and forth, and people were really not happy with the way that this turned out.
And Yamiche, his appearance actually also ended early, right?
That's right. He was supposed to be there and have an hour-long interview, and they cut it off at about 34 minutes. My understanding is that there was sort of some questions about what that was. Was it because he thought that NABJ was to blame for starting late? Was it because it got so contentious that his team thought that it wasn't beneficial for him to stay on that stage? I should say I was listening and talking to a number of Harris allies in real time, talking to them as well as campaign aides, and they were saying, oh, Trump is unhinged. This is a complete train wreck for him. This makes him look terrible. So Democrats were sort of looking at this and saying this was not going to help him win over any new voters. And that's really what he has to do, of course, in order to win in November.
And of course, we heard those comments he made about Vice President Harris. Has she responded to his claims from that speech today?
Yes, the Harris campaign has put out a statement. They were saying that it was insulting, that it was just the wrong thing for Donald Trump to be doing. I want to read part of what their statement also said. It said, today's tirade is simply a taste of the chaos and division that has been a hallmark of Trump's MAGA rallies this entire campaign. It is also exactly what the American people will see from across the debate stage as Vice President Harris offers a vision of opportunity and freedom for all Americans. And they ended by challenging former President Trump to go to that debate stage on September 10th, which is when there was supposed to be a debate between President Biden and former President Trump. They had both agreed to that. Now former President Trump is saying that he's not sure he wants to debate anymore, so, making a bunch of different excuses, mainly saying that Harris isn't officially the nominee. But really, this comes down to Harris is saying, say this to my face. He's been saying that at rallies, sort of in some ways goading Donald Trump to going to the debate stage. And also some people in the crowd have also been chanting, he's scared at campaign rallies. So this is really them going about that again and leaning into that messaging.
Yamiche Alcindor in Chicago tonight. Thank you. Turning now to Vice President Harris. Tonight, she's officially the only candidate in the Democratic race for president. A key deadline passed last night with no one else qualifying. Now the DNC says 99% of delegates are supporting her. Meanwhile, we're just days away from learning her VP pick. Next week, she's expected to hold a rally with her choice in Philadelphia. That'll kick off a tour for the duo in 6 other swing states. Joining us now is NBC News political embed Nnamdi Egwuonwu. Nnamdi, the VP is speaking to a sorority rally tonight in Texas. What do we expect to hear from her?
Yeah, the VP in Houston right now, after already having a pretty successful fundraising day, her campaign saying she raked in $2.5 million for an event that was organized after 4 days. So really feeling the momentum as she goes and speaks to the women of the Sigma Gamma Rho sorority at their annual Boulé ceremony. So for those who don't know, Boulé typically among predominantly Black, historically Black sororities is a gathering. So think thousands of Black women all in one room. And this is really, as Black women often referred to as the core of the Democratic Party, the audience that Harris often tries to target in her campaign stump speeches. So what you can expect from her is to really hit all the issues that she's made a priority throughout her time as vice president. One of those issues is Black maternal health, often talking about her efforts through the administration to point out and reduce the disparities that exist among Black women who are more likely to suffer complications related to pregnancy. Talk about her effort regarding reproductive rights. You know, she's been a champion on that issue for the White House and now in her own campaign. And also continue to sort of drive this contrast between herself and former President Donald Trump, who she often frames as trying to take America back to the past while she's focused keenly on the future. So, you know, these Boulé ceremonies have been a prime opportunity for Harris not only to speak to a coalition of voters that are critical to her base, but also really sharpen her message as her campaign gets up and running.
And let's turn now to the Veep stakes. She is planning on visiting 7 states with her VP pick next week. What else do we know about that swing state tour? And do we have any more indications about who she's leaning towards?
Yeah, well, we know that this swing state tour is really designed to be a show of force for Harris and her eventual running mate. They really want to hit the road running as we approach November and the DNC and sort of signal to voters nationwide that they're serious about winning as many voters as they can and speaking to as many voters as they can. Now, what we do know is this tour is going to start next Tuesday in Philadelphia. The campaign has said she will have her running mate by that date. And they've also advised that even though this is taking place in Pennsylvania, we shouldn't necessarily assume that means, oh, Josh Shapiro is going to be the pick. They say that Pennsylvania was already decided in a vacuum. It's a state that both her and President Biden, when he was a nominee, visited often. But what we do know is that Shapiro is very much so still a top contender, as is Mark Kelly in Arizona, who NBC reported today would help her on issues like the border. Andy Beshear in Kentucky is still stumping for and threw his hat in the ring. So, and Harris herself said yesterday that this is still a decision that's actively being made. She told reporters yesterday that she hasn't yet made that decision. But like you mentioned, in a couple days' time, we will know exactly what this ticket will look like.
And in some other news earlier today, the Secret Service whisked away First Gentleman Doug Emhoff's daughter from a New York City restaurant. Can you tell us more about what happened there?
Yeah, it happened earlier today. And what we know so far is the Secret Service says a man seemingly unprovoked came and tampered with the license plates on 2 Secret Service vehicles. The agent said that there's no indication that this was politically motivated or that this man even knew who was in the car or that these were Secret Service vehicles. But either way, he was detained and local authorities ended up taking him into custody. They were, very quick to point out that Ella Emhoff was not injured in any way. She was not put in danger. And that, again, this seemed to happen without any provocation.
All right. Nnamdi Egwuonwu, thank you for your reporting. We appreciate you. Now to breaking news, as the Pentagon has announced that 3 men accused of plotting the September 11th attacks have reached plea agreements. Originally, the U.S. was seeking the death penalty for all 3 men, including the accused mastermind behind the attack, but the men agreed to plead guilty to conspiracy charges in exchange for life sentences. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. Up next, tensions in the Middle East hitting a higher pitch. Israel being blamed for the death of a Hamas leader in Iran. The concerns about retaliation and a wider conflict. Plus, on the brink, the Arctic being reshaped by melting glaciers. Inside, the dramatic consequences from ecosystems to weather patterns and even climate change itself. That's tonight's temperature check. And later this hour, we'll fly on over to Paris. There's a live look at the floating Olympic cauldron tonight. If you've been wondering what that's all about, well, you're in luck. Gadi has all of the details for us, as well as explaining Paris's unique love affair with balloons.
It's always the same magical feeling I have when I fly, always.
Welcome back. Let's take a quick look around the world. The U.S. carrying out a self-defense strike in Iraq's Babel province. The strike targeted a base south of Baghdad. 4 members of Iraq's Popular Mobilization Forces were killed and 4 others were hurt. U.S. officials saying the strike was aimed at militants preparing to launch drones. Iraq is calling the attack a heinous crime. In England, riots erupting after misinformation spread about the stabbing that killed 3 young girls and critically injured 7 others. Rioters attacked police and stormed a mosque. There had been claims on social media that the suspect is an asylum seeker, but he is not. He's a 17-year-old from Wales. 50 officers were hurt in the riot. The Prime Minister condemning the riots, pledging to hold those responsible accountable. In Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro is requesting an audit of the disputed presidential election by the country's Supreme Court. The move is drawing criticism from foreign observers who question the court's independence. Maduro is claiming victory, but opposition leaders and international voices, including the U.S.-based Carter Center, are demanding transparency. All of this playing out as protests have erupted nationwide, leading to significant unrest and arrests. And leaders in North Macedonia are asking the EU for help as wildfires rage on. The fires have crossed into Greece, destroying homes and causing evacuations. Firefighters, aided by aircrafts, are battling the flames near Lake Doron and on Greece's Evia Island. Aid is arriving from some European countries. Fears of an all-out war in the Middle East are growing tonight, so much so that airlines, including United and Delta, have suspended flights to Israel. All of this after a top Hamas leader was killed in an airstrike in Iran today. Israel has not claimed responsibility for the attack, but Iran and Hamas are blaming the assassination on the nation. Iran is now vowing revenge, with the country's supreme leader saying that Israel, quote, martyred their guest and there will be severe punishment for it. This comes just a day after another strike killed a Hezbollah commander in Lebanon's capital of Beirut. Israel is saying they were behind that attack. NBC's Raf Sanchez has more on what this could all mean for the region.
Tonight, cries for revenge against Israel echoing across the Middle East after the brazen assassination of Hamas's political chief in the heart of the Iranian capital. Ismail Haniyeh killed in an Israeli missile strike on this building in Tehran, just hours after meeting Iran's supreme leader, according to state media. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tonight refusing to say if his country was responsible, but warning Israel will exact a heavy price for any aggression against us. Now, fears growing that Haniyeh's violent death could derail fragile ceasefire talks and spark a wider war. The White House racing to keep diplomacy alive.
I think it's too soon to know what any of these reported events could mean for the ceasefire deal. That doesn't mean we're going to stop working on it.
84-year-old Oded Lifshitz, kidnapped on October 7th, has been held hostage in Gaza for 299 days. We met his grandson, Daniel.
Do you think Benjamin Netanyahu is serious about getting a deal to bring the hostages home?
I think that if he's not serious about getting the hostages home, the Americans need to make all the necessary pressure that he will do so.
1,000 miles away from Iran, in Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, Hezbollah confirming one of its top commanders was killed by an Israeli strike. Israel says Fouad Shukr was responsible for the deaths of 12 children in a rocket attack. But Lebanon says this brother and sister were also killed in the Israeli bombing, a cycle of revenge that's taking the region to the brink of war.
And with Israel bracing for retaliation on multiple fronts tonight, the State Department issuing a stark new warning to U.S. citizens: get out of South Lebanon because new fighting may be about to erupt. Back to you.
Raf, thank you. Let's bring in Elise Labott, journalist and author of the Substack Cosmopolitics. Elise, thanks for being with us tonight. And first of all, explain how these militant groups are intertwined with each other and the role Iran plays here.
Well, Valerie, they're all kind of supported by Iran. Hezbollah is really more of a proxy of Iran and does a lot of attacks on its behalf, as Hezbollah is on the northern border with Israel, also very involved in Syria. And a lot of the Hezbollah attacks are at the direction of Iran, while Hamas is really more of a Palestinian resistance group, also a terrorist group, but more about Palestinian resistance, but also is supported by Iran. So now Israel is really facing two-front conflict, one on the north and one on the south, but both supported by Iran.
Mm-hmm. What could Israel's strategy be if they are behind the strike in Iran? Was that a bad call on their part?
I don't know if it's a bad call. I mean, look, they haven't said that they've done it, but Prime Minister Netanyahu has promised to, quote unquote, decapitate the Hamas leadership. He said that Haniya was one of the targets. So it's pretty reasonable to assume that Israel was behind it. I think that, that is definitely what the Israelis wanted. I'm questioning the timing, though, because you did have this ceasefire negotiation going on, that the Israelis and reportedly the Israelis and Hamas were close to a deal that would have a ceasefire and a release of these hostages. So you would kind of wonder why they didn't wait till those negotiations were through. But they saw a target of opportunity. Haniya lives in Qatar, and Israel has growing relations with Qatar, so they didn't want to upset him. The Qataris. He also spends a lot of time in Egypt. They have a peace treaty with Egypt. So I think this was really seen as a target of opportunity because he was in Iran.
And I know you just mentioned the ceasefire negotiations. How could this impact those ongoing negotiations?
Well, it's certainly going to delay it. I don't know if it's really going to cancel it or halt it. It could derail it temporarily. We have to remember, yes, Haniya was involved in the negotiations, but Sinwar is really the head of the Hamas kind of military wing. He was really seen as the one who makes the call on those negotiations and whether there would be a ceasefire and a hostage release. I do think it's going to not only derail the negotiations temporarily, but it's also just going to cause a lot of chaos within Hamas itself, because there's going to be a lot of jockeying for power. And so I think it's definitely going to delay any ceasefire or any release of those hostages, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Where does the U.S. stand on all of this?
Look, I mean, the U.S. has been trying to negotiate this ceasefire deal. They've also been, even before October 7th, but certainly after, trying to negotiate some kind of border agreement with Hezbollah and Israel in terms of trying to get a buffer zone and trying to get Israel to stand down a little on its overflights of Lebanon. This makes all of it kind of much more complicated. The U.S. reportedly has been, according to officials that I've spoken to, they have been cautioning Israel against any of these attacks, which would certainly escalate the situation. There have been this kind of cold peace between, not a peace, but certainly restraint between Israel and Hezbollah. Neither one of them has really wanted to go into a full-out war. The same with Iran. All bets are off really right now. We have to see what the ramifications are.
Okay, Elise Labott, we appreciate your breaking that down for us. Thank you so much. Coming up tonight, Boar's Head is recalling even more deli meats after finding listeria in one of their products. We'll have more on the latest outbreak in a moment. But first, you got to see this. A 14-month-old boy fell into a PVC pipe and was trapped underground in Mound Ridge, Kansas. The father of the toddler was outside working on his car Sunday, and the mother was walking around the yard with her son when he fell more than 10 feet into the pipe. The Mound Ridge Police Department created a catch pole with a lasso-like rope at the end and got the toddler out within 20 minutes. An unbelievable save, and everyone was just fine. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Here are some of the stories happening out west that we're following. Arizona Republican Carrie Lake won her primary last night, now setting up a general election face-off with Democrat Ruben Gallego. Lake defeated two Republican opponents while Gallego ran unopposed in the Democratic primary. The hotly contested seat is being vacated by Senator Kyrsten Sinema. 3 inmates were killed in a Nevada prison brawl. It happened yesterday at Ely State Prison. The Department of Corrections says several others were hurt, and the prison is now on lockdown. An investigation is ongoing into how the fight broke out. Los Angeles is defying Governor Gavin Newsom's order to clear homeless camps. The city's Board of Supervisors says county jails won't be used to house those removed from encampments. LA's Mayor Karen Bass says she doesn't support Newsom's decision. The executive order requires state agencies to begin clearing encampments that pose higher safety risks. Listeria concerns are growing tonight as Boar's Head is recalling even more deli meats following an outbreak that's already killed 2 people. The company is recalling 7 million more pounds of deli meat after listeria was found in one of their liverwurst products. So far, at least 33 people have been hospitalized across 13 different states. The CDC says that number could be even higher. Now stores are being urged to deep clean deli counters as officials are telling consumers to throw out or return any recalled products.
It's very concerning that a company that's large, so large, that has such a great reputation, would have something like this happen.
It's literally the only brand I buy. So it's going to affect our family this week. Lunches will be a little different, and maybe going forward, I won't be buying it anymore.
Now, the company first recalling more than 200,000 pounds of product last week, now expanding it to every deli meat produced in their Virginia plant. That includes 71 products shipped nationwide, even to places like Mexico and the Cayman Islands. Let's bring in NBC News medical contributor Dr. Vin Gupta. Dr. Gupta, walk us through how this massive recall could even happen in the first place.
Well, Valerie, unfortunately, this is a risk, and this is why the FDA has strict food safety protocols in place. But sometimes this happens. Listeria outbreaks do happen across the country. This is a particularly large one. 2 people, unfortunately, have died already, 34 seriously ill. But this is a risk, and this is why we need surveillance systems in place. We need to make sure our food supply is as safe as possible.
And how concerning is listeria? Is this something that everyone should be taking seriously?
It is. It is a serious infection for those, especially at the extremes of age, so newborns, frankly, pregnant moms, those that might have weakened immune systems because of medications they might be on. So it is serious for those who might have weakened or impaired immune systems or who might be medically high risk. And what we see, Valerie, is about 16 get a case of serious infection every year. About 260 actually end up dying. And again, really what we'll see is that symptoms begin about 2 weeks after somebody has contaminated, say, deli meat. And so you have to, if you're worried about it, or if you thought you might have eaten some contaminated deli meat, think about what type of meat you've been buying, and it might be even a few weeks after you actually had that ingestion.
And what should consumers be doing to make sure they aren't at any risk here? What can they do?
Well, I would say if you've bought deli meat, processed deli meat, Boar's Head brand, any time recently in the last few weeks since the end of June, just throw it away. There's a list of 30 different products, actually, even more on the CDC website that are under this recall. It's very complicated. So if you're somebody that's bought Boar Head recently since the end of June, assume that it's infected, throw it away, and clean your refrigerator surface with some type of detergent cleaner. Really critical here. It's important also to recognize and have a conversation with your medical provider. If you're medically high risk, you think you might have accidentally eaten something, to have a conversation about prevention, maybe early treatment.
All right, Dr. Vin Gupta, thank you so much. Coming up, Earth's glaciers are on the brink of no return, melting at rates we haven't seen before. We take a closer look at how it's changing our world as we know it in tonight's Temperature Check. Welcome back. Here are some of the other headlines we're watching tonight. A 43-year-old man was ambushed, shot, and killed outside of a Philadelphia mosque Tuesday. The man was shot several times, including at least once to the head, and police called it an execution-style killing. No suspect has been arrested yet, and police are still trying to figure out a motive. Attorneys for rapper Travis Scott appeared in a Florida courtroom this morning for an arraignment after Scott was arrested for disorderly intoxication and trespassing last month. Scott was not in attendance as he's currently on tour in Europe. His lawyers asked if they could obtain police body cam footage from the night of the arrest. The next court date was set for August 8th. The House of Representatives is extending its ban on ByteDance and will remove all apps from the Chinese company from House-managed devices by August 15th. The new ban specifically targets apps CapCut, Hypic, Lark, and Lemonade. TikTok, which ByteDance also owns, has been banned from House devices since December of 2022. It comes after congressional concern that the company poses a national security risk to the U.S. A Missouri man who spent more than 30 years in prison is finally free. We recently told you about Christopher Dunn, whose murder conviction was overturned last week. Dunn was 18 when he was falsely accused of fatally shooting a 15-year-old and has long maintained that he was not involved. Now at 52, Dunn is reunited with his family and is already making plans to go see a baseball game. And today, the Federal Reserve decided to keep interest rates exactly where they are. But they also indicated that inflation is getting closer to its 2% target. Fed Chair Jeremy Powell says if it continues to cool, a rate cut could be on the table in their September meeting. Now for a closer look at a climate crisis unfolding in India. Water is running scarce as temperatures continue to soar up to 115 degrees. NBC News international correspondent Janice Mackey-Frayer is in New Delhi with more on how India is handling the extreme weather.
India's monsoon rains were supposed to bring relief from scorching heat. Instead, flooding and landslides triggered disaster, killing dozens in the southern state of Kerala. Extreme weather crises blamed by some experts on climate change. Around the world, rising temperatures have led to heat warnings, forest fires, wilting crops across Asia, Europe, and the U.S. According to new data compiled by NASA, July 22nd was the hottest day on record for the planet ever, part of what scientists call a long-term warming trend driven by human activities, primarily the emission of greenhouse gases. Few places on Earth show the critical challenge of extreme and rising heat like India, where record heat waves this summer had temperatures hovering at 115 degrees or higher. Intense hot stretches that experts say are longer and more dangerous.
People who don't live in India might think, well, India is always hot.
The heat wave advisories have come in consecutively for the third year now. This year has undoubtedly been intolerable.
The concern is when humidity is added to temperature, known as a wet bulb measurement. When that level approaches the body's temperature, it's harder for humans to sweat and survive. In a report last November, the World Bank warned that wet bulb temperatures in India could make it one of the first places to test that threshold. Already in teeming cities like New Delhi, drinking water for millions is so scarce that the government has moved to ration it.
The water trucks come 2 or 3 times a day here, but it runs out fast and there's never enough.
Sales of air conditioners have surged, but only for those who can afford it. The International Energy Agency predicts that by 2050, India will have 1 billion ACs going, all of them kicking off even more heat. With temperatures on the rise, this group of friends is hitting the streets. They give out hats and umbrellas to street vendors and laborers who have no way to hide from extreme heat.
Unless we start the change in ourselves and start bringing the change in our daily life, climate change will not get better.
This should not be the norm. People need to start realizing this is not okay.
India's government has long had a heat action plan, but people are being forced to adapt to a new era of temperatures that just keep rising. Janice Mackey-Frayer, NBC News, New Delhi.
The Arctic is often referred to as Earth's refrigerator, helping to cool our planet. But that cooling power is fading fast. Glaciers are melting, permafrost is thawing, and weather patterns are changing. These shifts might seem distant, but they're reshaping our world. NBC News climate reporter Chase Kane takes a closer look.
Yeah, so the Gadi Glacier is 5 miles wide at the very bottom. About 25 miles long, goes up to 9,200 feet.
2 years ago, flying above Alaska's expansive ice fields.
See, this is all new right here. This iceberg broke off probably about 2 weeks ago.
You could clearly see the signs of climate change.
This is so beautiful, but it's also just so sad.
We don't have decades. We hardly have years.
Research now confirms these glaciers are on the brink, some already past the point of no return.
If all of a sudden the snow line rises above the top of the ice field, you're not going to have any more snow income. Your tipping point in this case is we don't have any more income. I've worked on 250 glaciers. Every single one of them is retreating now. And I've stood on 27 different glaciers that I've taken measurements on that are now gone.
Maury Pelto has studied Alaska's evolving landscape over the past 4 decades.
What are the changes that you've observed recently that are, I imagine, quite different than in decades prior?
From 1948 up to 1990, it was losing mass, but you weren't going to panic, and then it began to accelerate, and then after 2010 is when it really increased.
Alaska's having a major heat wave. Trends that have already triggered dramatic consequences on weather patterns.
It feels about 70 degrees out, and it's still warming up.
Entire ecosystems.
Risk of starvation as foods on land are not an adequate replacement for seals on the sea ice.
And local communities.
There it goes.
Unbelievable. Roads are crumpling, airports are breaking apart, homes are skewing because the ice that used to be in the soil isn't there anymore.
And this alarming reality is playing out across the entire Arctic.
What people don't realize is that the Arctic is changing faster than pretty much anywhere else on the planet. As we lose these really bright white surfaces, it's actually making the Earth darker. More of the sun's energy is being absorbed by the surface underneath, whether it's ocean or land.
It's known as the albedo effect, and you've felt it if you've worn a black shirt outside on a hot day, because darker colors absorb more of the sun's energy, while white and lighter colors reflect more of the sun's heat, helping you stay cooler. Well, polar ice and glaciers work the same way, reflecting the sun's energy back to space. And the more of it we lose, the hotter Earth gets, just accelerating climate change.
Even these fundamental rules of climate change seem to be breaking down in certain parts of the Arctic.
It's a kind of weird phenomenon that we're trying to understand, but they do offer some potential insights into the future of the Arctic in general.
Will Harcourt and his team just got back from a research expedition to the remote Svalbard Islands in Norway.
Svalbard is an area where there's a hot spot of what we call surging glaciers, so glaciers that suddenly speed up kind of without any prior knowledge of it being able to do that. I definitely don't want to say that climate change is triggering surges, but there is some interrelationship there that we're trying to understand.
An Arctic anomaly or forecast for the future? One thing is clear. We are facing a rapidly changing and unpredictable Arctic with far-reaching effects.
Chase joins me now from Los Angeles. And Chase, those effects on the world's climate are something that you've been tracking this summer, no exception, right?
Yeah, that's right, Valerie. If we look at Alaska, and just last week, parts of central Alaska, we're seeing temperatures in the upper 80s and even 90 degrees. And a lot of people in the lower 48 might think, okay, gosh, that's not actually that hot, right? But these temperatures are 15, 16 degrees above average. And then when we zoom out and look back at just last year across the Arctic Circle as a whole saw its 6th warmest year on record in 2023. But when you look specifically at last summer in the Arctic, it was the warmest summer ever recorded. And that's really important because that's, of course, the time of the year where you're going to see most of this polar ice, these glaciers melting. And then if we zoom out even further and look back at basically the last century or so at what's been going on in the Arctic, you see just how quickly it's warming. I mean, the Arctic has warmed in just the last 40 years by nearly 6 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 4 times faster than anywhere else on the planet. And really the long-term solution to this kind of warming is that we've got to start reducing and eventually eliminating fossil fuel emissions, coal, oil, and gas. The science is clear about that, Valerie.
All right, such important reporting, Chase Kane. Thank you. Before we go, it's time for the future of everything. Some schools could soon tell students to leave their phones at home. Coming up, school officials weigh in on the concerns they have over smartphones in classrooms. Plus, how the Paris Olympics is honoring the first humans to ever take flight long before the Wright brothers did. Gadi takes you inside the history of the city of balloons. Welcome back. Time now for the future of everything. Last night, we showed you some New York area teenagers who went on a phone fast to see if it improved their mental health. But what are schools doing about this crisis? Principals are becoming more worried about screen time during school days. Our friends at WNBC in New York surveyed hundreds of school administrators about the issue. Chris Glorioso has the findings.
Halfway through the summer, the sound of a school bell seems like a distant memory. But this summer, across the tri-state and across the nation, school administrators are wrestling with a big question. Should they change their policies on phones?
Our kids are fully addicted to these phones. We've got to do something about it.
New York City Schools Chancellor David Banks isn't the only one concerned. Phones are having a negative impact. Over the last month, more than 500 elementary, middle, and high school administrators took an exclusive iTeam survey. Among the results,
74% of principals and vice principals think these phones are making students depressed, anxious, or lonely. 88% of administrators told us the phones are making students distracted or tired. And 85% of principals think the phones are amplifying student conflict or bullying.
The fight that happened down in the cafeteria, and all of a sudden it's trending.
Newburgh Free Academy principal Matteo Dotto is one of the administrators who took our survey. He told us one of the biggest problems with phones in schools is they tend to amplify conflict.
When the phones were everywhere in this school building, was it the case that the worst thing that happened during the day became that which scrolled across every kid's phone? Was it a race to the bottom?
Yeah, absolutely. It was negative. It was violent, or it was bullying. It was attacking.
In our iTeam survey, school administrators also answered an open-ended question with revealing answers. One of them writing, smartphones are contributing to increased vaping and drug use in schools because students can text or message each other to coordinate selling and using substances. Another wrote, even in an elementary school, the influence that social media has on my students is ridiculous. They think recess is boring. I worry about the future.
Our survey also found distractions in school don't always come from other students. 65% of the administrators we polled said most or many students get daily calls or texts from their parents during instructional time.
But even in the case of a catastrophe like a school shooting, 80% of the administrators in our survey said it's safer for students to stay off phones and stay focused on instructions inside the classroom. The survey also revealed a mismatch in how old kids are when they get phones and how old school leaders think they should be.
More than 70% of the school administrators we polled said most kids actually get their phones at 10 or younger. But more than 70% also said they believe the right age to get phones was 14 or older. The biggest percentage said 16 was the right age. And we've been giving phones to kids way too early.
One school administrator wrote, I've never heard a parent say they regretted waiting to give their child a phone or social media access, but I can't even count how many regret giving their child a phone at a young age.
The end result is what we want is for them to be healthy.
In Newburgh, school administrators banned phones during the school day, and our survey found nearly 2/3 of principals and vice principals support that idea. Chris Glorioso, News 4, New York.
And finally tonight, let's check in on the Olympic Games in Paris. The U.S. remains on top of the medal count with 30 total. Host country France isn't far behind with 26. None of those American medals may be sweeter than the gold won today by swimmer Katie Ledecky. She's now tied for the most all-time medals for a female Olympic swimmer. Speaking of swimming, after postponing the men's triathlon yesterday because of the water quality in the Seine, officials gave the green light today, not just for the men's event, but for the women's one too. A historic scene after swimming was banned in the famous river for over a century. And remember that floating balloon from the opening ceremony? That's the Olympic cauldron. Well, our Gadi Schwartz got to look into France's history of balloons and why this cauldron is so special.
And there in the Tuileries Garden, they will light the most unique Olympic cauldron we may have ever seen.
During the opening ceremony in Paris, a golden surprise. A balloon just steps from the Louvre and a floating Olympic flame. That golden balloon is more than just an Olympic torch. It is a tribute to the brave Parisians, the first humans to ever take flight. And some of them took off from this very garden 240 years ago. Back then, the French were the true masters of the heavens. For more than a century before the Wright brothers and their first flight, Paris was the city of balloons, the first manned flights ever, taking off from Paris in 1783.
In terms of shape, it just looks like another space object.
It looks like a celestial body.
Definitely.
Mathieu Luinaire designed the Olympic cauldron, hoping to tap into our innate desire to gaze up in wonder.
Every single night when the sun goes down, the Olympic sun goes up.
And while this balloon will stay on the ground during the day for crowds to appreciate up close, just a few miles away.
Welcome to the balloon of Paris.
Another balloon will give you the kind of experience Parisians have had for hundreds of years.
Oh, wow!
And just like that, we were lighter than air.
It's always the same magical feeling I have when I fly. Always.
Jérôme Giacomoni dreamed up the Ballon de Paris as a boy. He literally wrote the book on balloon history in France.
So you see Eiffel Tower?
Yeah.
Ballooning was once in the Olympics, right? Yes, in 1900. Ballooning in Paris was very, very popular. So you had a race of balloons. And you know, they take off from Paris, and the winner went to Kiev.
Kiev, Ukraine?
Ukraine.
There's the other balloon. There's the brother of this balloon,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Wow. And there on the ground, just like during the first flight centuries ago, thousands gather. This time to salute a new rising sun over these Olympic Games.
That does it for us tonight. I'm Valerie Castro. We'll see you tomorrow, but until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.